Welcome in, everybody. Ty Bartel in with another edition of Player Profile. This time we go to our friends over in the NE8, the Girard Indians softball team. One of their seniors on that squad, Molly Durkin, joins me today. Molly, how are we doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad, and you're not having a bad season yourself, currently batting over 300 for your squad. First and foremost, though, before we talk about this season, I want to kind of go back to where this softball journey began for you. Do you have a first chapter that sticks out in your mind? Where did you begin your softball career? Where did the roots start?
I've always played through just like youth programs in Girard. So since probably as young as like 4 or 5, I was playing t-ball, and that was always a fun time. I've played with the same girls since then until now, a lot of them, and I always played with older girls. I was graduating class last year, and so last year was a big time for us because it was girls I've been with forever. And so now, I've stepped up into that role and I'm playing with younger girls that I played with, and I was always the older girl to them. So it's really been a fun time, to progress all the way from 4 or 5 years old until now at 18 with the same group of girls.
You talk about that. I mean, over 10 plus years in the sport too. You gotta love what you're doing to keep coming back each and every year. Do you have a point where you kind of fell in love with the sport that sticks out to you, or what kind of made you keep coming back year in and year? Was it the relationships that you built with those girls?
Yeah, a lot of the relationships, and I've always played for my dad was my coach, my uncle Bill, who is still on our high school staff now. I've always played under my uncles and my dad, and so that really, started my love for the game was playing with family. I have two older cousins that I've always played with, and so just those relationships, and then the relationships with my friends. My best friends play softball, so it's really just been great to grow and develop with them.
I know your dad pretty well. I love your dad as well. You talk about having that dynamic too, where your dad is a coach too, but he's also your dad too. Did those lines ever get blurred? Was there a little bit of extra coaching that went on at home too? How was that relationship dynamic like growing up with your dad being your coach?
Oh yeah, my mom always had to keep him in check. Like we're not going to talk about this at the dinner table. Like this is on the field, and then once we're off the field, then it's done, Breen. Like that's it. So it's been really great to play for him. It's been great to play for my uncle Bill. He's still the assistant coach of the varsity team, and so I've grown a lot with them as coaches, and I think it's really made me tough skinned because they're going to tell me how it is. They're not going to give you the sugar coating on things because it's your family. So they're just going to give it to you, how you need to hear it.
Absolutely, no doubt, and that's just how Breen is for sure. You talk about you loving the game though, but your experience with the game of having 10 plus years, not everyone has that experience. When you talk about advice that you might give a younger version of yourself, experiencing how many years you did in softball, what's some pointers you might give a younger Molly about how to succeed and go far in high school?
I think a positive mindset's huge. This is something I still talk about, with the younger girls, our freshmen and our sophomores. They're like one strike and they're defeated. And I'm like, there's so many pitches and so many plays. You have to keep moving and keep a positive mindset. Things are going to go wrong and things are going to go bad. But if you just keep playing, there's a lot of outs. And that's something that our coaches always preach is 21 outs a game. And so you have to focus one out to the next. And one bad play or one error, can't diminish your whole game.
I like your mentality too. And you talked about how you had the experience going up with all these girls. Now all of a sudden you got these younger girls on and it's your turn to be a leader. When you talk about stepping into that role senior year, it's your turn now to be the leader, the one the girls are looking up to. What was that like for you? What would you say your leadership style is like too? And how have you progressed into becoming that senior leader for this team?
Yeah, I'm someone that I feel that the leaders don't have to be seniors. I think I've been a leader on the field. I don't want to say all 4 years because as a freshman, you're quiet and you're shy, but I started playing varsity as a sophomore, and I think I've slowly, progressively stepped up into that role. I'm someone I love to lead by example. I think people watch and they do what you do. And so I think, always being at practice and being a great communicator and just showing my team both leading by example and like leading them vocally, this is what needs to happen, guys. I think both of those together combine to make a great leader, and I think that's something that I do well both on and off the field.
I think you do as well. 4.0 GPA, you're a class president as well. So you're doing a lot off the field. Where do you find the time to balance the student and the athlete part and be successful in both?
Yeah, it's always student over athlete, and that's something that all the coaches I've played for have always valued. And so that's something that I value. And I think, the work happens first in the classroom and then on the field. So the 4.0 and the grades is what's really gonna get you somewhere in life. So that's something that I've always focused on. And I think time management is huge. I always find time to be in the weight room. The weight room's my favorite place to be, and that takes time management because you're practicing 6 days a week, you're playing 4 or 5 days, depending on the week. So I think my time management skills are really great. I schedule things literally back to back to back, but I make it all work and I love what I do. And there's nothing that I could give up to be like, I want to have a little bit more time, but I love everything equally. So I just feel like I make it work.
You talk about learning about yourself as a player and progressing in that aspect. What have you learned about yourself as a person through your 4 years of high school?
Yeah, I think the time management is huge. I'm someone that really, can cut my time up and be like, okay, this is where I need to be today and this is what I need to focus on. That, and I think I'm good, leading others, and being a leader is really a strong suit of mine. So throughout my 4 years, just in all my sports, I've been captain, I've been, president of different clubs. And I think being a leader is something that is really, a big part of my character.
I think your character too is one that a lot of little girls can look up to, and what you're able to do time management wise and how you're able to be successful in multiple aspects. When you talk about the younger girls, you had your experience through the middle school ages too. A lot of those girls in middle school, it's kind of a crossroads. Do I want to stick with softball? Do I not want to too? And hitting slumps can be a big aspect of that. What's some advice you give to maybe some younger girls that are on the fence if they want to stick out softball or not?
I think it's really worth it. It's the best season, in my opinion. You're outside, you're in the sun, you're with your best friends. It's not the dreary gym like a basketball player. Somebody that's playing inside constantly even could maybe catch a tan in the sun. So I love softball, and I think it's a great way to bond. And it really is a great sport to learn from because there's so much failure, and it teaches you how to overcome obstacles. And I think that that's been a big thing for me is just, moving from one play to the next and really keeping a positive mindset. So I love softball, and I tell all the little girls, we do a lot of youth camps, and I always remind them, I'm like, guys, the softball team, we got to stick with it. We're working to build for the future. So
You talk about one play to the next, and you've been a part of a ton of plays in your softball career. Do you have any favorite memories? What's some that stick out to you throughout softball?
Oh, that's hard. I don't know. We've played a lot of competitive games. I think just stepping in as a sophomore, as a younger girl, just that entire season was pretty monumental to me just because that was my first varsity experience. I play volleyball and I cheer, but as a sophomore, I was on JV for both of those teams. So I think that was huge. And I got to play, with older girls that I had grown up with. So just the whole season as a sophomore, being like the underclassman on varsity was really a cool experience.
And you mentioned your cheer. Your cheer is going to get you into the next level as well. You're going to Walsh to cheer. Talk to me about that experience too, and being able to get that opportunity to go collegiately and be able to cheer there. And why Walsh too? What made it feel at home for you?
So I love the religious background at Walsh. I'm Catholic, and that's something that's really important to me. So being able to transition from a public high school into a Catholic university was huge. Everywhere that I looked at, I liked small universities. Walsh is small, and it really felt like home. So initially going in, I didn't want, to play collegiate sports. That wasn't something I ever really considered. And then the opportunity arose, and I'm going to be on the stunt team at Walsh, which is NCAA Division II. So I'll be fully like on a scholarship through the stunt team, and then I will cheer sideline football. So it's really the best of both worlds because I get the part of being the athlete with the strength training, the competitiveness, the game aspect that I love, and then the sideline cheerleading that has been a huge part of my life. That's something I also love. So I'm getting the athlete and the cheerleader at Walsh. So it really is the best of both worlds.
That is awesome. And you also mentioned too that you love the student aspect. So what is it that you intend on pursuing at Walsh? Do you have kind of an area of study that you're narrowed down to?
Yeah, so I'm going to double major in foreign and American government affairs and English professional writing on a pre-law track. So the goal is ultimately to go to law school, and then I want to be a lawyer and eventually a politician.
Of course, you're double majoring too. That doesn't surprise me as well. You talk about adding another challenge to time management too. I mean, you're just stepping up your game once you get to the college level. What other experiences are you trying to look for getting into collegiately now? And I guess just continue your growth as both a student and an athlete now.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things. I'm really looking forward to the religious life at Walsh. That's going to be huge, I think. And my success is staying grounded in my roots there. And then just like the strength program is really exciting to me at Walsh. So that's something I'm looking forward to. I hope to maybe go on a mission trip while I'm there. There's a lot. I'm excited about college and the next chapter.
We're excited for you as well. But before we let you go, we got to get into some of these more important softball questions. Like the first and foremost, what's the favorite dugout snack?
Oh, we love candy. We're a candy team. Any kind of sour candy. We bring candy almost everywhere we go. We travel with sweets. So some type of I love the Sour Patch watermelon. That's probably my favorite.
Are you a water, a sports drink, or an energy drink girl for the dugout?
Coffee before the game and then water in the
Coffee.
dugout.
What's the coffee order? Is it just straight up, or do you have like a specialty one?
Venti ice white mocha with caramel and cold foam.
Do you feel like is that like has that become like one of the superstitions? Do you have other softball superstitions that like this needs to happen before game or during
Um,
game?
I'm not a coffee before every game, but I enjoy it. So that's something I'm like, okay, well, I want to play good today, so I'm gonna go get a coffee. But I don't think I have too many superstitions. I mean, I do the same thing before I take the plate every at bat, but other than that, I don't really, I feel like you show up every day with a new attitude and wanting to win, and I don't think there's things that really, change the outcome other than your performance.
My man Anthony Hartwig has this theme question for softball players this year, so I'm going to ask it to you. There's a trend going on TikTok and social media right now. You line up everyone on the team non-pitcher and ask them to imitate being a pitcher. Who do you think on Girard's team that's a non-pitcher would sell being a pitcher the best?
Hmm. That's hard. Maybe one of our younger girls, our catcher, maybe she throws a little bit, so I don't know that that's fair because she could go in and pitch if we needed her to. We have, Brooklyn Brawl is our starting pitcher, but our bullpen is pretty deep. We have a lot of girls that have a little bit of pitching experience, so I would say like 5 out of the 9 starters probably could go in if onto the mound if we needed them to. So it'd be kind of hard because a lot of girls do have pitching experience.
With all your experience in softball, do you have any kind of softball icks that people do?
Um, I don't like pitchers that like grunt or make faces. That like really gets to me. And our pitcher this year, Brooklyn, is so like we tell her she's emotionless, strike out or walk. She's got the same look on her face. So I respect that out of her. She's able to just maintain like a stable outlook, no matter what's going on. So she's not like emotional on the mound. And I think that that's, to her benefit.
I think every senior can always ask to just leave a footprint, a lasting footprint on the program and the school, the community that they were with. What do you hope that these younger girls talk about and say about Molly Durkin after you graduate?
I think just that I was dedicated to the program and I put the time in that I needed to put in to be successful. I also think that girls look up to me just like in the weight room strength wise, and I hope that that's something that they will take after, because the weight room in the off season is really where the improvements happen, and so that's been a huge aspect for me, and I hope that that rubs off on the younger girls because they have great talent and it could be developed in the weight room.
Do you have a favorite superhero?
Superhero? I don't think so. I'm not really a superhero girl.
Who is your real life hero?
My mom. My mom is my best friend and, my biggest role model. So she is definitely my superhero.
I love to hear that. We want to give you one more chance to before we let you go. I want to give you the spotlight to shine on anybody else. Shout out anybody that you want that's been big, influential, and impactful for you along the way.
Yeah, our entire coaching staff. We have Coach Keggy. He's been great. He's first year, but has been on our staff, the whole time I've been in high school. And he really is working to build for the future. And he's building leaders and he's building a successful program. So I think he's going to be essential to the success of our program in the coming years. My Uncle Bill, Coach Bill, he's also been great. He's like the positive light. He keeps everybody on their toes, and keeping people laughing. Coach Saxon, we joke with her. She claims she's our social media manager, but she's always a good time to have around. And she really, keeps everybody just in line and in check. And we have Mr. Griffith. He keeps the book for us, and he has always. His daughter graduated a few years ago, but he loves the game and he comes back. So he keeps things, rolling for us. The coaching staff's been great. Just playing with my fellow seniors. It's me, Melina, Christina, Kylie, Destiny. It's been fantastic, to play with them for all these years. And so I really have grown to love the game and the people I'm around.
Well, Molly, we wish you nothing but the best in your future. We wish you nothing but good luck going to Walsh, as I'm sure you're going to continue to do great things that you already started doing there in Girard.
Thank you very much.
This has been a edition of Player Profile with the Girard senior Molly Durkin.